Hey everyone, so in this video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be coaching my friend Wibo out of hopefully bronze or silver and get him to his desired rank. He has his own YouTube channel. I'll put the link at the very top of the description. I strongly suggest checking him out and giving him a subscribe. So I hope you guys stick around for this journey and see the progress we can make. So yeah, just for clarification, the first recording I did, my mic was not working properly. We went over his first Jinx placement game. So this is a different game now. We're going over one of the more recent ones. Cool. I'm ready when you are.
All right, let's do it.
Feel free to pause or stop or ask a question wherever you feel like you need to.
Okay. Yeah, so we can actually stop here. I don't know, like when you're starting the game and you're gonna leash, where would you be standing?
I
Like what would
usually,
you be doing?
right where Rengar is or Tribush, I would
Uh-huh.
run straight to one of those to get vision coverage and just stand there.
Oh,
Because people will
like there or
invade.
there?
Yeah, people will usually invade through one of
Okay.
those. If you go and wait in Tribush,
Mm-hmm.
then because a lot of times when you're walking back to lane, people will camp that bush and wait for you to walk by. So if you stand in it until like maybe a minute and 10 seconds and you know
Okay.
nobody's there, then you can safely go up and leash or where Rengar is.
Okay.
Usually you should have one person covering each.
Okay. That makes
I
sense.
usually go with W level 2 unless you have somebody that's like a really hard engager on the enemy team.
Okay.
Pantheon is a good example, but you know, it's level 2. He probably won't go in
Yeah.
with him being like half health. But W because you can pick up your axes and really chase him down better. And your early game
Okay.
damage is super strong.
Yeah, so because Timo walks away, right? And Panth walks up right here.
Yeah.
Should I have gone in on him? Or
Probably not because he hasn't used anything. So he still has
Mhm.
his stun up. Granted, I
Okay.
don't think they would be able to kill you or anything off of it. I
Because I
think
mean he is pretty low, but Janna's also pretty low, so
yeah, and you have to keep in mind if he hasn't used his E, then he's
Mhm.
vulnerable to whatever damage you throw at him. So you have to keep in mind that it's a fairly long cooldown, and if you know he hasn't used it, then he's guaranteed to have it. Timo flash play. Nice. That was interesting.
Yeah, I don't know what he was going for there. So would you push this out like that?
Yep, you killed somebody and they are forced to back. That wave is going to, it looks like it's freezing right in front of their turret. It
Mm.
should bounce back towards you, and it's a siege wave as well. Most likely when players come back after dying like that, they'll usually just hard push out, so you probably won't miss that siege.
Okay.
Let's see if it's still there. No, it looks like it died on the way, but that's not bad. You still have a pretty big wave right in front of you to farm.
Mhm.
Decent
So
knockback. In a situation like that, after he used everything and you came out with practically full health, you could immediately jump on the Misfortune instead. Because
okay, so
he
we
no
should
longer has any tools, and if you just jump on her, E her, and use your W, you'll be able to kill her.
yeah, so we should have sorry. Let's do this. So when he goes in right there, we should have waited until he popped everything and then just turned on her.
Yep.
Because Janna did get the knockup, but
Yeah, at that point right there, I mean, you came out with practically full health, and she's way out of position, and he no longer
okay.
has any tools. This is a weird exhaust by Janna, but you can burst Misfortune down so fast, and she's completely defenseless.
Okay.
Right about now, it's probably back up, so you do have to be careful of that bush. You guys are ahead enough, and you have Janna, which means you get really, really good shields, that you can play
Mhm.
more aggressively. Right here is something you can do that's not always an easy thing to be able to judge, but those
Mhm.
minions right in front of you, just milk your Q until the last second before you auto, and then you'll let the wave freeze right in front of your turret, and they'll be forced to play up.
Oh, okay. Instead of just trying to push him out.
Yep. Because now
Okay, that makes
it
sense.
moves right back to the center of the lane.
Yeah. Otherwise they would have had to come up to the tower.
Yeah. You're very liberal
So
with your use on your E. Really, you're using it to protect yourself or catch somebody out, where you're
uh
kind of just throwing it at Pantheon there. It's kind of hard to pull off, but you can knock Pantheon out of his W midair with that.
really?
Yeah. And it'll
Okay.
totally cancel the ability. Or you can wait for him to use it, and then obviously you can jump back on Misfortune and knock her to the side, and it applies a slow. Or you can just
Mhm.
re-engage back on Pantheon.
Okay. Could we have tried to stop his back there?
Yeah, it's good to just stall people out no matter what. It looks
Okay.
like you guys don't have any vision in river, so it might not have been a bad thing, because if you do get ganked, then it's still a 2v2 and he's gone.
Okay.
But just making sure you have vision in river and stuff before you do things like that.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we've only got Tri-Bush, I think.
Yeah, most of the time it's definitely good to just pester people and stop their recalls. It means they're gonna miss out on XP and stuff, and their laner's gonna be alone for longer.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause she missed Salt.
Ooh, comes back and kill her. Very nice. Yeah, that was good, because even knowing that Pantheon has ult and can come back, you're still way stronger than them.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for items right now?
Let me see. I built Yomu's first, and then I went for Collector.
Nice. Yeah, that's pretty good. I know the meta's shifted around a bunch. Essence Reaver is still pretty good on him, I'm sure, because you get that mana back and you can spam W a lot. But Yumu's is such a cheap item, you can get it so fast, and it gives you so much movement speed and damage.
Let's see. I was up 1 kill on Misfortune and 20 farm almost.
Nice.
So
yeah, you're 2 and 1.
I think I did better farm in this game. All right, 70 at 11 minutes. Better.
Very nice. Teemo ganks aren't much to worry about, which is good. I wouldn't have even bothered warding right there, because you already have a ward and dot bush. And even if Teemo does gank, he's still pretty weak and insignificant. Nice ult. Yeah, while they're bantering up there, you could just hard push this wave into their turret, because it's going to force them back into the lane where they'll have to fight you or just play really safe. Yeah, I would definitely take advantage of that blue and just spam W all the time.
Okay. So that was
solid. That was good.
E right there was probably more what you were saying to do.
That was good. That was really solid. It was a little risky to auto him that close to turret, because if you did get stunned in the turret range, there's a good chance it would have got that shutdown gold on you. But it worked out pretty well. More aggressive play. Right there, you could jump right back on Misfortune.
Okay.
You do so much damage, you could pop Yumu's, and if it starts to look bad, you'll have the movement speed to just run back out.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I threw one auto attack at Pantheon and backed out after that.
Yeah, and at this point in the game, too, where she has ult and she's getting a little stronger from items and everything, you could also save your E to stop her ult.
Okay. How do you feel about using ult for, like, what I did here? I was clearing this so they didn't take the tower, right?
You're right. I don't think it's too bad. I think that's fine. Probably good, because your Janna's out of lane right now, and you don't want them to keep getting damage on turret. It helps to push them back out.
Okay.
Looks like she's coming back here. But yeah, that works just fine.
Okay.
I would say compared to most global ultimates like that, it's one of the worst, not like the worst, but it's not as good to use for clearing waves and stuff like that, because it has so much power in team fights.
Yeah.
So
you lose a lot of damage from using it.
Definitely not the worst use of it, but it's not the best.
Okay. But for that situation, it was pretty good.
Yeah, that works just fine. Fanna's getting caught. You can throw your E there to stop the Misfortune ult, which has a pretty decent range on it. There, I would focus more on Misfortune, because you'll be able to kill her faster and then deal with the Pantheon. Pantheon's damage comes out a little bit slower, and she's way squishier, so you'll be able to kill her way quicker.
Okay. So I should have thrown E at her instead.
Yeah, I would have thrown E straight at her and just automatically just start beating her.
Okay. Or even right here, turned onto her.
Yep, and just focus her instead.
Okay. Yeah.
Had you gotten 1, maybe 2 more auto attacks on Pantheon, it would have killed him.
Could I have stayed and tried to stop this tower, or
no? Yeah, it's probably not worth giving up the bounty at any case. You had Yone roaming on you too, so it was better to play it safe, especially when you're worth 700 gold.
Yeah.
Chasing the Tom Kench. Tom is really scary. Luckily, Draven's really strong, but I would have instead probably pushed out. I would have stayed mid and pushed that out so they could get Dragon safely, which Teemo's top anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But usually you want to play around your objectives. And I can't imagine Tom is worth too much money.
Yeah, I don't... Now he was 1 and 3.
Yeah, 1 and 3. So usually better to push mid in that case.
Okay.
It wasn't much time wasted. So yeah, like I said, without minions and stuff, it's really hard to push up, especially when you're this close to turret and it's inhib turret,
Mhm.
and you already see that most of their team is there. Diana is an absolute
Right
menace. I
here.
would screw the axes and just run away.
Okay.
Just get far away from her, because if there's anybody on their team that's going to be able to kill you, it's going to be Diana.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And especially in a team fight situation like that, too. Janna's AFK.
Yeah.
that was unfortunate, but yeah. In a case like that, it's not saying it wasn't worth flashing, but you just gave up your bounty. So,
Mhm.
dying, really, you're still not worth that much because you just gave up your entire bounty, and then you could save that for like a more team fight situation or for the objective.
Yeah.
Because you guys
Makes
have
sense.
Baron up, and in any case that somebody on your team does get picked and they go for Baron, then you don't have your flash up.
Mhm. Yeah, this time I
Yeah, backed
got
way
away.
away from the Diana. That was a smart choice, because then she went on Mord instead. And then you guys should just be able to take the inhib. Just yeah, this is something that probably shouldn't happen. Is chasing
Yeah,
down the Pantheon with 4 people. You guys could have done Baron in that time, probably.
that's
But
true.
that's a team thing. You can't really control that.
Yeah.
I would definitely take this time to just recall and go straight to Baron. Use whatever money you have to get some items. And
Okay.
hopefully your teammates would figure it out and back up and play more safe while you
Yeah,
make your
well,
recall. Yeah.
maybe I would too.
Just a little bit of greed, just playing back more. Take what you can and leave. Mordekaiser's 1v5ing.
Yeah, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, even at points like that where you're in their base and doing some pretty heavy work, it's still good to run back and take objectives and stuff, because your whole team like wasn't there. You guys need to like reset and regroup.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I bought a Bloodthirster after that.
Nice, yeah, and Bloodthirster's always solid on him, because your lifesteal scales directly with how much damage you do, and Draven does a ton of damage.
Mm-hmm. And that's it.
Very, very nice. Definitely a little risky playing right into that Diana there, but that was still really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, I think it all looks like it went pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
I think just some of the more dueling mechanics, like dealing with Pantheon and Misfortune in lane when you're ahead and being able to play aggressively, and just
Yeah.
utilizing your E a little better, and just obviously practicing the fluency with the axes and actually CSing with them, and
Mm-hmm.
while maintaining a solid position.
Yeah. Well,
But
let's see. I ended 147 CS at
47, nice.
26 minutes.
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's definitely not perfect CSing, but that's
Mm-hmm.
pretty solid.
Yeah. It was definitely, I think, a lot better than last time. It was like 60 CS at 20 minutes. So.
Yeah.
But you were saying we should have taken Baron instead of chasing the Pantheon up.
Yeah, when that Pantheon was running away, you guys could have just started Baron, because the rest of their team
Okay.
was gone anyways, and your team is super,
Mm-hmm.
super fed. It just makes closing out the game way easier. But your whole team was chasing him, and if the rest of your team's chasing him, then you can't really do Baron.
Okay. What do you think about the build on Draven? Would you have done something different than that?
I think if
I
you
went
want to,
Yomu's, Collector, Bloodthirster.
Yomu's and Collector are definitely good first items. Yomu's first probably all the time, because it's just what's really strong and really cheap right now.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to focus on what's like prevalent in the meta, it would usually be Yumu's into either Collector or Hubris. Because
Okay.
Draven scales like crazy, and he snowballs so fast. And with Hubris, every time you get a kill, you get bonus attack damage, and it
Mm-hmm.
just continually feeds into itself. If you're already doing well, it's kind of like an AD Medjai's, but with
Mm-hmm.
less risk. So that's a really solid second item if you know you're doing well. Collector works
Okay.
just fine too. And if you do want to go more defensive, you should play defensive while you're ahead. Bloodthirster's not a bad option for a third item. Um, and depending on what the enemy team looks like, it wouldn't have been a great choice in this match, but it wouldn't have been bad. You can go Ninja Tabby. And since you're going a lethality build, you're not focusing on attack speed. You're just getting as
Mm-hmm.
much damage as you can per auto attack. So
Yeah.
Ninja Tabby helps you reduce that incoming damage from Misfortune and Pantheon, since they're both AD.
Do you think Merc Treads would have been decent because Diana did so much during that?
I think the thing with that is it's only a little bit of magic damage that you're negating. Really, what the
Mhm.
good thing about Merc Treads is the tenacity. And her
Yeah.
crowd control, she only has that one, and it's an instant. It's a knock up, so you can't reduce the timing on that.
Yeah, so it would have
So
been
it would
MF
have been
slow,
pretty useless.
Pantheon.
The only thing it would have helped with is like Teemo's Blind and Tom Kench's CC, which you didn't have to deal with much
Yeah,
anyways. If you want magic resist, you could go with a Mauve Malmortius, because
yeah.
that also gives you a magic shield that scales with your AD.
Okay. What are your thoughts on QSS like early? Like first item, then QSS if I was having trouble with Pantheon. Would that
It
be
I don't think you need it for Pantheon because it's only that one CC and it's relatively
Mhm.
short. And you have an enchanter that has pretty decent peel and shielding and healing for you. So rely
Okay.
on her for that. I would say the only times you're really building QSS if you're against like a Malzahar or a Mordekaiser or
Okay.
somebody with a really, really strong crowd control. A lot of people will take cleanse in lanes against oh, who is it? Seraphine's not a bad one. Sona, Seraphine and Sona ults are, those are very cleansable because they're really strong
Mhm.
crowd controls. That Rakan's not a bad one. Rakan's kind of hard to play around because he can charm you into a knockup and you can't cleanse knockups.
Yeah.
So I would only get QSS if you're against a champion that has a ridiculously strong like Morgana.
Mhm.
Morgana Q you could ruin your whole lane if you don't have cleanse or
Okay.
QSS.
Okay. On the other hand, so if you were playing this MF into the Draven, what would you have done differently so you didn't lose lane?
I It's hard because she didn't use her Q very well. And her
Mhm.
Q right now, because she's one of the strongest ADCs in the meta at the moment, because she thrives off of lethality and first strike. If
Mhm.
she had used her Q better and played towards that advantage of poking you from afar and getting big damage off, then she would have done a lot better. But it looks like she was mostly queuing minions and just not getting any poke on you.
Okay.
And especially with a Pantheon, if she's able to line up a Q on a stun target, you'll get tons and tons of damage for free.
That makes sense.
That and she just plays way too close to you and didn't utilize as much of her ult damage as she could.
Mhm.
It's really hard against Draven because Draven is such a snowballing scaler, and it's never fun to play against. You mostly just have to play really, really safe and wait for them to make a mistake. Definitely like where you almost got stunned under the turret, situations like that are what I would probably be looking for, where waiting
Yeah.
for the enemy to slip up and then, emphasize on that.
Yeah. And would you have done Tabbies into Draven? Because I think she just had
For
the
misfortune, probably. I would either have gone tabbies or swifties.
Mhm.
Tabbies, obviously, for the damage negation on auto attacks. I don't know how
Yeah, yeah.
much of a difference it would have made against Draven, but it is a percentage instead of just flat armor.
It's what is it? It's 12%?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
also against your entire team, you have Rengar, Yone, and Draven. I would definitely go tabbies. The
Okay.
only reason I would go swifties is because movement speed's really good on Misfortune. She should have gone Yumu's first. She shouldn't have gone rapid fire cannon.
Mhm.
Rapid fire is just not really that good on her. It's not even that good in the meta at the moment. So Yumu's first because you get the passive movement speed and an active movement speed, and she gets like 400 and something movement speed. It's insane, and it's really really strong early. And then Swifties. The only reason I would go Swifties is because the slow on your E or the Janna W, because the Swifties kind of remove some of that slowing effect, and it's also just
Okay.
passive movement speed all the time. But Tabbies would have
Cool.
been the much better option.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I think that's all I got.
I think that's everything I got too. That was a pretty solid game.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. Thank you guys for watching. If you want to see more of this and you want to keep up with the progress that we're making, stay tuned for the episode 2, and there will be more episodes to follow after that. So like and subscribe and stick around.